Commissioner Collins, would you lead us in prayer, please?
I will. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this day, Lord, and we just thank you for all your many blessings, Lord, on us individually and us as a county, and we just ask that your continued blessings upon us. Lord, be with us today as we conduct the county's business, and I just pray that we do it in a way that would be pleasing to you, and we just pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this September 5th, 2023 Marshall County Fiscal Court meeting to order. We have guests here today, and also have Morgan Alvey, who's with Senator McConnell's office. It's a pleasure having you as always. First up, we have a proclamation for the International Alpha Delta Kappa Month. Susan Schimmel's here, and many more, it looks like. Would one or any of or all of you like to get up and say something? Oh, come on, somebody.
I heard a lot of no's.
Great. Yep. Yeah.
She don't want to talk anymore.
There we go.
I'm Amy Wagner. I'm the president of our Alpha Delta Kappa, the Alpha Rho chapter here in Marshall County. It's made up of women educators, and we like to do things for our community, for the children in our school system, for our teachers and our administrators and all of our support staff. So October is our Alpha Delta Kappa month, and we wanted to, we try to do special things for the schools. And we would like for you to sign a proclamation declaring that. And so these are some of our members that are here today. Mostly the retired educators came today because obviously the teachers are in school.
Is there a party somewhere?
That's all of October, right?
It's all of October?
Yes.
Big
yes.
monthly party.
It is.
At Ladonia's house.
Yes. So do you
Great.
have the proclamation?
Yeah, we've got it. We've got it here. Anyone else want to say anything? Are you sure? Okay. Mr. Payton?
We'll probably need to come up with a better copy of than what I've got up here for him to sign, but we'll get him to sign it.
Yeah.
You at least ought to get a picture.
Oh, we will.
We will.
You want to read the proclamation first?
I will. First of all, I appreciate what you do. I've seen what you've done over the years as an educator myself, or former educator, however you want to look at it. Always an educator, I guess. A lot of these ladies have had an impact on me directly and still do. So I could probably say the same thing about several of you up here. So appreciate that very much. It's good to see you here. So I will read out the proclamation. I'm the reader. Okay. The proclamation for International Alpha Delta Kappa Month. Whereas women in education constitute a great portion of the nation's workforce and are constantly striving to serve their communities and nation in educational, cultural, and charitable programs leading to the harmony, happiness, and peace among all people. And whereas goals of Alpha Delta Kappa International Honorary Organization for Women Educators are to honor outstanding women educators, to strengthen the education profession through commitment to diversity and inclusion, practices that respect and value each person for their unique qualities, to nurture relationships and networking opportunities, to enrich personal and professional development, to support altruistic projects, grants, and scholarships with time and resources, to embrace cultural differences and make an impact through world understanding. Now, therefore, I, Judge Executive Kevin Spraggs of the Marshall County Fiscal Court, by the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim the month of October as International Alpha Delta Kappa Month. Our mission is to empower women educators to advance inclusion, educational excellence, altruism, and world understanding.
Okay. next item, we have tax rates. Erica's going to go over that briefly, if there is such a thing.
Okay, so I will give a forest view of how the tax rate information comes to us. So we get a letter from
We
the
have it
Kentucky.
on there, right?
I have the tax rates for the districts that we have that
you know.
that need to be approved for us.
Okay.
Our tax rate letter, I feel like, did we read it at the last meeting? No? Okay, I'm sorry,
have
I
that?
did not scan that on there, but I can
Okay.
pass it around for you guys to want to read it. And I can scan it so you have it after
I
court.
think, did we get it by email, or did you just? Did you not
I thought it was email.
no, maybe not.
I don't think
I know,
I got
I get
an email.
I get a snail mail copy of it, and I assume that you all get a
Okay.
actual
No.
copy from DLG too. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll pass this around and I will scan it, and I'll give you copies if you need it after this. Okay, so we get the assessed values from DLG, and then what they do is they look at the property that we can tax in our jurisdiction, and it has some new property that was excluded from last year, because new property takes it some time before it's included in this pool of what can be taxed. So they look at our pool of what can be taxed, and they know all the values. You know, we might have had some things fall out of taxation. We might have had some new bills that can now be included. We might have had changes in the valuation of the property. So we have this new value number. And they look at what we received in revenue from our taxes from last year, and they say, okay, to stay relatively similar to what you received last year in taxes, counting what you can pull this year and tax off of, we're going to tell you what your tax rate needs to be so that you make about the same amount of money as you did last year. Usually it's a little bit more relative to how much your overall revenue is. Okay, so they do that for us every year, the Kentucky Department of Local Government. And so they have sent that to us this year. It's called the compensating rate, and it's 8.3%. Okay, so then beyond that, they also send you what your rate would be if you wanted to increase your revenue amount, so that the dollar amount that you receive by 4%. So they send you that calculation. And just so that you know, if you take the compensating rate, there's no hearing required, there's no recall option. We can just take that compensating rate and go on about our business. If any taxing district wanted to use the 4% increased revenue rate, then there would be a hearing that would be required, but that would be it. Once the hearing was done, the rate could be incorporated and go on. If any taxing district wanted to go above the 4% increased rate of revenue, there would have to be a public hearing, and there's some rules around that, what all needs to be done, advertisements, stuff like that. And then it could be subject to a recall, and that's a whole ordeal, which I would be happy to explain if we ever got in that situation. Okay, so back to the fiscal court. The fiscal court's compensating rate is 8.3. The 4% increase rate is 8.6. Last year, we were at 8.9. So obviously, our compensating rate has gone down. So that's great for taxpayers. We also receive, the fiscal court, we receive a letter where the DLG automatically does these calculations for a few of the other special purpose government entities in the county. So they do that calculation automatically for the soil conservation district and for the hospital district. Now, the other districts either need to get those rates from DLG and special requests, and DLG will calculate it for them. Or, as you will see in what I've uploaded to the drive, a lot of these special purpose government entities, they have a state level board, and those people provide them with their calculations for them. So in the last couple of years, the law has changed. The fiscal court used to have really no say over tax rates for the districts. Now the fiscal court can approve or disapprove any of the taxing districts except for fire departments. They are excluded from that.
And school.
And Jason may have more information on that.
Yeah,
And school.
There's a couple things I'd like to add to this, and Erica touched on this, but basically, we have an opportunity here to reduce the tax rate from 8.9 to 8.3, which is 0.6%, due to the fact that property values have gone up and new construction have contributed to that and still maintain the same amount of revenue from that source.
What are the other, and I would say too, I don't have the document in front of me, but I'm fairly certain we were at like 9.6 something probably whenever we first came into office on the court,
If I remember
You know,
correctly,
5
I
years ago?
actually think it was 9.8.
9.8.
We've reduced it
So-
every year.
We've taken the compensating
Yes.
rate each time, which again, with the increase in values, I think is the right thing to do. So, I know we'll vote on all these at one time, but if you need a,
We're going to vote on them individually. Yeah.
okay. You want a motion
Sure.
on that? I move that we accept the compensating rate of 8.3%.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Oh.
Great news. I'm very proud to reduce our taxes yet again.
The fiscal court also has to set their motor vehicle watercraft rate, and it's on that form as well. I think it's at the bottom of page 3 in a square.
11.2.
So you all need to set that if you want to accept that rate.
So I move that we accept the 11.2 rate for watercraft and motor vehicles.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Were you wanting me to go through the ones I do have so far? Were
Yeah,
you
the
all
ones
wanting to
we
do
can go
this?
ahead and vote
Okay.
on.
These are on the drive. So the first one that you should have on the drive, I believe, is the library rates. The library.
She is supposed to be coming.
Okay, well, we'll set that one aside and come back.
Go, give her a little bit more time.
Okay, the extension office has set theirs, the compensating rate that is as provided to them by the Kentucky State Director of Extensions. And so that is where their rate calculation came from, with the assumption there that is their state office that did complete those calculations for them.
So they voted.
Yeah, they have
board
provided
has,
me with
okay.
their forms
All right.
certifying that that is the rate that board has set.
Okay.
Okay, the Conservation District is one of the ones that DLG does provide to us.
Yeah, let's vote after each one. Need a motion on the
Move
extension
we
office.
accept the extension office's compensating rate.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now the Soil Conservation, and their rate is set at what the DLG calculated rate was. So it matches that one perfectly.
Move we accept the soil conservation compensating tax rate.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we also have the Refuse District, and I've attached to that one, Brenda has completed their calculation for the compensating rate using the Kentucky's form, Kentucky Tax Calculation Workbook for Special Purpose Government Entities Workbook, and I have attached that. And it is set at what she calculated as the compensating rate.
You know what that's lower as well. I think we.
6.9 is what she has calculated. It was previously 8.2.
Wow. Okay, I move we accept the refuge district's compensating rate of 6.9.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so the last is the library. Would we like to
So-
wait and talk about that?
Do we need to do because they have motor vehicle as well, do we have to do their motor vehicle, the refuse?
No, we are the only ones who set our motor vehicle rates, and then as far as what the fiscal court has control over is my reading is it's the property
It's on their
rates.
thing.
She
no?
sends it to us so
She
that we
sends
can give it
to
on
us?
to the
Okay,
clerk.
Gotcha.
And I scan everything they give me to you all, so you can see.
Okay.
The library, is it at compensating rate from DLG?
So library has their calculation provided here on the back, and it comes from the Kentucky State Department of Libraries and Archives. So also a Kentucky office has calculated for them their compensating rate, and they have set it at the compensating rate.
Move we accept.
Previously.
It's 8.6 this year, and previously it looks like it was it 9.6 previously? Does that seem right? They actually don't put that on their forms. I have to try to. Okay, preceding year's tax rate, they did put it on the form. It was 9.2. And 8.6 is what it's currently set at.
Here she comes.
And she can talk to you about it some more.
Come on in. Where's your part?
We changed the time to 9 o'clock, so probably. Gotcha.
We were here by 9:30. Are you ready for me?
We are.
All right. Wait, we don't take up much of their time. Well, first of all, sorry for being late. I thought I was early. I don't have a whole lot to tell you today. I'm just wanting to tell you about how you have one of the most well-known and respected public libraries in the entire Commonwealth. Feel free to brag to the other fiscal courts about that. We definitely have one of the best staffs. I probably do not go a full week without somebody stopping me in public and saying something like, I was in there the other day and they were so nice. They were so helpful. I couldn't believe they were able to do that for me. And our staff is being recognized on a statewide level. Lanisa received the KPLA Award for marketing for all the cool things she does to let people know about what we're doing at the library. Our teen librarian, Olivia Shelton, was named a fresh face, which is, you give that to people who are like just out of library school that you recognize will be a future leader for libraries. I was named the vice chair of the Kentucky Public Library Association, which means next year I will be the chair. And I was able to represent all of Kentucky libraries in the University of Kentucky's COVID Oral History Project, which was a great opportunity for me to tell people about our community, about how much we come together when something happens. And it was just a really nice opportunity to be asked and to get to talk about Marshall County. Something we did back in the spring, which I know it sounds completely random, but we discovered that Marshall and Callaway County are quite possibly the only two places where the majority of the population refers to daffodils as March flowers. And I know that seems random, but I feel like it shows the kind of staff we have, first of all. We find something interesting and we're going to study it to death. And secondly, I love things that make our community unique, that shows like that we're a special group together. And I think that's one of those things. We call them March flowers. Almost all of us in here call them March flowers, and nobody else does that. I think that's really neat. I have some theories on why that is, but anyway. We like partnering with our local organizations to expand our reach and their reach. One of the big ones we do is partner with the health department for the health fairs. We had one back in the spring that was pretty huge. We have one coming up on September 25th. It's going to be over at the Benton Branch. Over 40 vendors will be there. I encourage you all to stop by that afternoon, not just to get your blood pressure checked to make sure you're okay, but to see the overwhelming number of resources our community has. I think that's really important, that we all understand what's available out there, because people come to us, they come to you, and they need things. And if we don't know what those resources are, we can't match them to it. We recently partnered with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. As of Friday, you can check out rod and reels from our Benton Branch.
So next time you go fishing, stop by, get you a rod and reel. We're also going to partner with them on some programming for children and families. Fishing is part of our culture in Marshall County, and we want to keep that strong. And so they're going to come in and hopefully ignite a love of fishing in some of our younger kids.
Or is a boat next? Eddie needs that. Needs a boat with the rod and reel.
With the rod and reel.
A boat, well, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they donated
Just a
the rod and
thought.
reels. I wonder if they donate a boat to
Hey,
us.
it's worth the ask.
We just
Worth
need
the
one.
ask, yeah. Speaking of kids programs, we just had the best fiscal year of programs ever. We're up 40% from pre-COVID. And one of the coolest parts about that is a lot of that are kids under 5. We have a ton of preschoolers and toddlers. This past week, we had 3 newborns, like less than 6 weeks old at programs. Parents are really seeing the benefit of bringing those kids in, and the long-term effects of that are they're going to enter kindergarten ready to be more successful. Studies show that they will remain successful throughout their academic career and then throughout their actual career. So I am really excited to see all these kids. Our children's book circulation is up, and I think in 15 to 20 years, our workforce in Marshall County is going to be amazing. I am really excited seeing all those littles in there. This year, for the first year at our programs, we were able to offer American Sign Language interpretation for many of our programs. We have some deaf and hard of hearing children that come into the library, so we were really excited to be able to expand and make those activities more accessible. We have a new online schedule. If you go to our website, marshallcolibrary.org, for one, it makes it much easier to find out what programming's happening, but 2, you can now get on and see what meeting rooms are available when, and go ahead and request them right there and not have to call the library, which is very helpful. Our meeting room usage is high, like really, really high. So much so that we are actually adding a new meeting space. It's going to be set up like a classroom style for instructions. It'll hold about 8 to 12 people. We hope to have that up and running by next month. So that increases the number of spaces you can do out to 5. In October, our outdoor classroom goes out to bid, finally. Anybody who has worked on a building project in the last couple of years knows that that's been a lot of fun. We had some boundary line issues and stuff. We finally got those cleared up, so hopefully next summer that will be ready, which will bring it up to 6 meeting spaces at the Benton branch that you can go in and reserve. But then when you add in the other places where we shuffle people when we've got too many meetings going on, it's about 10 or 12. So lots of meeting room space, and it's being used a lot. Have lots of different stuff in there. We're expanding the makerspace. That has been super popular. We have over 100 people trained with new skills to use the makerspace, and so we need more room for people to be in that room simultaneously because they need in at the same time, and also to add more equipment in the future to make people more job ready. We have some ideas that will make them more attractive to some of the plants in Calvert City, and so we're really excited about that. We have a new website coming soon that will make all of our stuff easier to find and use. And of course, the reason I am here is to announce our tax rate. We are taking the compensating rate, which will be 8.6 per $100 this year. It is a 0.6 decrease from last year, which makes it a 0.7 decrease since 2021. And the only number on that handout that I'm going to share with you is that in the past fiscal year, for every tax dollar we received, we provided $17.48 worth of services. I have a big spreadsheet if you want to see it, but it includes material usage. What it doesn't include is seniors coming to the library, having an opportunity to get out and socialize. It includes programming, but it does not include the benefit for those new moms who are having an opportunity to come together and have some adult socialization and talk about their struggles as a parent. It includes computer and hotspot usage, which last year we lent 150 hotspots all through the fiscal year. It does not include the long-term effects of a student being able to keep up with their schoolwork because now they have internet access thanks to the library. It includes meeting room use, but not how having a nice, safe environment to gather helps grow and strengthen a community. So $17.48 for every tax dollar, that's awesome, but I think the stuff that we are doing that is the most important can't be measured that way. We are in a society that makes us loners in a global digital community. The more access we have on the internet, the more separated we are from everyone around us. And the Marshall County Public Library keeps Marshall County a small town because it allows for personal connections with our neighbors. So I do have an ask for you today, and it's send more people our way. We are doing a lot, but we can do a lot more. And I know you guys get people coming to you with needs. I am not going to rest until everybody in Marshall County knows that if they have a need, the first place they should come is to us. And if we can't meet it, we will try our darndest to find the organization or person who can meet that need. That's our entire job, is to meet the needs of the community however we can and connect them with information and resources. So please, as those people come to you, send them our way, because the number of times I get, I didn't know the library would do that, is almost as much as your staff's amazing. And I want that to stop. I want people to know what we're doing and to come and use us. So, what can I do to help you guys today? Do you have any questions, any asks?
What about your, I know I came to the grand opening or whatever you want, ribbon cutting or whatever you want to call it, of the kiosk.
Yes.
Have you had very much usage of?
We are not seeing the usage that I would like to of that. I don't know if it's people aren't sure why it's there or they're embarrassed to use it. I am not certain. I would love to see more use of that. I personally use the website that goes along with it when somebody asks for something because it's just a wealth of information. It's a lot of good stuff. If you're not familiar with it, it's the kiosk through the Family Scholar House in Louisville. And you go up to it and you push some buttons. You say, like, I'm a female, over 40, whatever. And this is my need, and it will give you all the local resources for that and even show them on a map where they are, has the address and the phone number. So that is available at our Benton branch. I would love to see them at Hardin and Calvert City. I think maybe they would get more usage possibly at those locations, especially Hardin. Fun fact, we're getting about 80 people at Story Hour at Hardin. Like, do 80 people still live in Hardin? Yeah. But we have 80 people coming to Story Hour at Hardin. That's how much our programs have grown and are really exploding, especially for those littles.
I think I just heard all this on Coffee Call.
Yeah,
On the way over here.
Yeah, Lanisa got in from Coffee Call, and we walked right on over here,
Yep.
and we were still late.
Well, it's my annual public. I do it a lot privately and out in the public, but thank you all for what you do. Again, I think it's one of those services that if you don't use it, you think, it's, what do they really do? But if they could just get a copy of one of these, or listen to Coffee Call, or read the paper with these statistics in it, they will see that we're very effective, and especially with you all taking the compensating rate, lowering that tax rate, and giving $17.50 in materials for what they pay in taxes. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I'll make the motion that we accept the library's compensating rate of 8.6.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all so much for
Thank
everything
you,
you do. Keep
guys.
up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, next item. Our treasurer, Ms. Erica West, was recently appointed to the CAPFO board.
Which is?
Hang on. Hang on, wait a minute. She was elected to the Board of Directors of the Kentucky Association of County Treasurers and Finance Officers, the primary purpose of which is establishing communications, education, and training, and cooperating between and among county treasurers and fiscal courts. So congratulations, Erica.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Cactfo. You get a plaque.
CACTFO.
Corey will make one.
Hopefully they'll.
It's like a 6
They'll get it correct.
Yeah, I'll get it 6 years.
Okay, next item, I need approval of the minutes from the August 15th meeting and public hearings.
Moved.
Motions or second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, ordinance 2023-16, speed limit, Gore Lane, second reading. Mr. Pagel.
All right, it's very short. I'll just read the whole thing. It's a speed limit ordinance, ordinance number 2023-16. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, in accordance with the provisions set forth in KRS 189-395, sections 5 and A, based upon the request of affected citizens and after review by the Marshall County Road Superintendent and the Sheriff, the Marshall County Fiscal Court does hereby set the speed limit at 25 miles per hour for Gore Lane located in Marshall County, Kentucky.
Need a motion to approve and adopt.
So moved.
Motions are second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2023-17, garbage disposal at parks, second reading.
This is longer, I will summarize. Okay, this is ordinance number 2023-17, prohibiting the disposal of household garbage and commercial garbage at clearly marked locations and imposing penalties for violators. Fiscal Court has become aware of the problems caused by people disposing of household garbage and commercial garbage at trash receptacles at one or more day-use parks. This includes, not limited to, overflowing trash cans and bins, workers having to empty receptacles more than would be normal or necessary, what is becoming limited litter, household garbage, commercial garbage. It will be unlawful for any person to dump or dispose of household garbage or commercial garbage in or about any public trash receptacle that's marked by a sign that says no dumping or disposal of household or commercial garbage. Violators are subject to criminal prosecution. All relative evidence may be considered in prosecuting a violation of this ordinance. The fine will be not less than $50 nor more than $500 for a first offense, and not less than $100 or more, and nor more than $500 for each second and subsequent offense.
Okay, need a motion to adopt and approve.
So moved.
Motions are second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Little John Lane. Need a motion to approve to sign the notice disclaiming interest to remove a portion of Little John Lane from the county maintenance system.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item. What a headache this has been. This roof at the judicial building has poured for quite some time. I think excessively since I've taken office. And we have put that out for bid, and we have received one bid from Mentor Roofing Company, located here in Benton. And this is a replacement. The specs were received from AOC. Mr. Pagel has worked extensively on this. And we have a bid of $189,320. And if this bid,
So what did I can't remember what we did in the budget. We allotted,
we did our portion of this, if AOC approves this, and this is going on their spec, so I'm assuming they will. This motion, if we have one, will include, subject to the county attorney reviewing and AOC reviewing and approving the contract, but our portion of that, the way it stands, would be roughly $18,000. And there has been special projects, if they were here, they would tell you they've done a lot of work over there since January 1, even. I'm not even going back past that. It's constant, ceiling tiles falling in, water issues, repainting, drywall messed up. So this is going to be huge in getting everything where it should be there. We've gotten about, I think, 8 of the units there repaired. 2 of them were deemed inoperable, needing to be replaced. We've got both those running. We're making some drastic improvements there in a short period of time.
so if we approve it and they approve it, we front the money and then we
Yes,
get the 80%.
then we get reimbursed, yes.
90%, I guess, something
Yes,
close
I
to
would
that.
want, obviously, documentation from them stating that and
Yeah.
and signing the agreement as well.
We taking that out of those reserves or the extra,
We've got a line
money?
item for this.
we did? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Okay,
We did, we budgeted into the judicial center department
yeah, okay,
for this.
all right. Okay,
It actually come in under what I thought it would. I had nothing to base that on, other than I heard the number thrown out on this one of $500,000 one time, which I thought was insane, but
I assume AOC won't have an issue, I mean, that there's just one bid, right?
Can't control that.
Probably not. I mean, they will, like Judge said, they will obviously want to see the contract and review it before it's finalized, but
Yeah, okay. I move we approve the Mentor Roofing bid for the judicial building pending,
subject to.
subject to county attorney approval and AOC
Second.
review.
motion, second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. I can't tell you how happy it will make me and Mr. Pagel not to receive a call.
That was big.
My office is flooded.
Unless it comes from the bottom.
Yeah.
We've actually already taken care of that.
Okay.
We had, thanks to Roy and the quick action of the road department, when we had whatever the rain was we had that did all the flooding damage at Graves County, I went down there and it was about a foot from coming out of the sump pump cavity, in the judicial building, and we were frantically trying to get some more water out of there. Roy shows up with a pump and started pumping that down. Since then, Mr. Pagel's got with an electrician, and we've got Lepisto involved also. Not only was the alarm not working, one of the pumps wasn't working, and we had no no alert system other than the audible alarm in the basement. If it's on a weekend, no one's there, then no one would be alerted. So we are working on that to where it will alert emergency management or 911 or someone if we're not there. And we also know now we have a pump, and they've got an extra hose for it, so we'll have a little better setup going forward if anything fails. But we've tackled those issues at the judicial building head on, and Andy worked on a couple of them last week. We're going to get things shaped back up there, and we're not too far from that. But this excites me about the possibility of getting these leaks stopped once and for all. Okay. Need to schedule a special called meeting. This is pertaining to the, we're going to have a meeting here in the fiscal courtroom for the town hall type meeting for the senior citizens facility to have some discussion about that. The cities mayors are invited also, so we need to schedule that for October 2nd at 6 p.m. Need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motions or second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Transfers, Erica? It's 6 p.m. here in the fiscal courtroom. Everyone's invited.
Okay, we have an appropriation transfer out of the appropriation board line to the board salaries line, and that's to pay out the Board of Assessment of Appeals amounts that we paid to each of those members, and then a transient tax transfer, $72,050.63.
Move we approve the transfers.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion?
Oh, sorry, there were no bank transfers.
Oh,
for this.
okay, sorry, thought I was jumping the gun. Need a motion to pay the bills.
So moved. Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive session, need a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation and personnel per KRS 61-810, 1C and F.
So moved.
Motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5th, 2023, Marshall County Fiscal Court meeting back to order. Just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.